Did you know? Jack the Ripper was an unidentified serial killer who was active in and around the impoverished Whitechapel district of London, England in 1888. In both criminal case files and the contemporaneous journalistic accounts, the killer was also called the Whitechapel Murderer and Leather Apron. Attacks ascribed to Jack the Ripper typically involved women working as prostitutes who lived in the slums of the East End of London. Their throats were cut prior to abdominal mutilations. The removal of internal organs from at least 3 of the victims led to speculation that their killer had some anatomical or surgical knowledge. The name Jack the Ripper originated in the Dear Boss letter written by someone claiming to be the murderer, which was disseminated in the press. Another, the From Hell letter, was received by George Lusk of the Whitechapel Vigilance Committee and came with half a preserved human kidney purportedly taken from one of the victims. The public came to believe in the existence of a single serial killer known as Jack the Ripper, mainly because of both the extraordinarily brutal nature of the murders and media coverage of the crimes. Extensive newspaper coverage bestowed widespread and enduring international notoriety on the Ripper, and the legend solidified. A police investigation into a series of 11 brutal murders committed in Whitechapel and Spitalfields between 1888 and 1891 was unable to connect all the killings conclusively to the murders of 1888. 5 victims, Mary Ann Nichols, Annie Chapman, Elizabeth Stride, Catherine Eddowes and Mary Jane Kelly, are known as the Canonical Five, and their murders between the 31st of August and the 9th of November 1888 are often considered the most likely to be linked. The murders were never solved, and the legends surrounding these crimes became a combination of historical research, folklore, and pseudo-history, capturing public imagination to the present day. The body of Mary Ann Nichols was discovered at about 3:40 a.m. on Friday the 31st of August 1888 in Bucks Row, Whitechapel. Nichols had last been seen alive approximately 1 hour before the discovery of her body. Her throat was severed by 2 deep cuts, one of which completely severed all the tissue down to the vertebrae. 1 week later, on Saturday the 8th of September 1888, the body of Annie Chapman was discovered at approximately 6 a.m. near the steps to the doorway of the backyard of 29 Hanbury Street, Spitalfields. As in the case of Nichols, the throat was severed by 2 deep cuts. Her abdomen had been cut entirely open, with a section of the flesh from her stomach being placed upon her left shoulder. Chapman's autopsy also revealed that her uterus and sections of her bladder and vagina had been removed. The vast majority of the City of London police files relating to their investigation into the Whitechapel murders were destroyed in the Blitz. The surviving Metropolitan Police files allow a detailed view of investigative procedures in the Victorian era. A large team of policemen conducted house-to-house inquiries throughout Whitechapel. Forensic material was collected and examined. Suspects were identified, traced, and either examined more closely or eliminated from the inquiry. Modern police work follows the same pattern. More than 2,000 people were interviewed, upwards of 300 inches people were investigated, and 80 people were detained. The nature of the Ripper murders and the impoverished lifestyle of the victims drew attention to the poor living conditions in the East End and galvanized public opinion against the overcrowded, insanitary slums. In the 2 decades after the murders, the worst of the slums were cleared and demolished, but the streets and some buildings survive. And the legend of the Ripper is still promoted by various guided tours of the murder sites and other locations pertaining to the case. For many years, the 10 Bells public house in Commercial Street was the focus of such tours. Hit like and subscribe for more videos.